And welcome to Mari's Golden Hour, that time that you set aside for yourself to do whatever it is that you want to do. It might be pampering yourself, it might be learning a new skill, it might just be sitting down, meditating, or breathing. Whatever it is. Welcome to Mari's Golden Hour. So, before I begin, I want to thank those people who have subscribed and liked, commented. Thank you so much for checking the channel out, and I do appreciate the time that you have taken in order to listen to me ramble on. I do appreciate it. And also, before I begin, I might have to pause a little bit because I ended up doing lunch for dinner today, and I didn't realize how heavy on the garlic I went. So I might be pausing, that way I don't get too belchy in this microphone. So for this podcast, I might jump around all over the place with some of my thoughts that I came across for the day. First off, something kind of silly. I came across a name that was written down, and I couldn't tell what it was. It looked like it said ass mouth or assed mouth, and all I could think of was ass to mouth, and I don't know, it just made me laugh. It's the equivalent of a fart joke or just somebody farting, and I was acting like a little 8-year-old boy. So anyway, let's see. Also, did I share with you guys something else I came across in looking at a movie? Oh, that's right. It was that Mystery Science 3000 movie, the super secret agent super dragon movie, and in that there was something in the opening credits that was a suggested buy, which I thought was interesting. I feel like we should have a suggested buy in the credits now. Anyway, what else did I want to cover? Last week I brought up the idea of being judgmental, and I'm not too sure if I needed to expand on that just a little bit more. When I first thought of it, I was wondering, do we do this, being judgmental with somebody? Do we do that out of love? Do we do it because we actually want to help that person in some sort of way? Or is it because whatever they're doing somehow negatively impacts us in some way? I don't know. Just wondered why we're judgmental. What is that about? Is that about us and our own insecurities? I don't know. Google Meet. That is a new thing that I saw that started up this week. And I want to know, is it better than Zoom? I personally haven't tried it yet or checked out reviews. And from what I heard, at least in the beginning stages of all this video conferencing that we've been doing, Zoom seemed to be a hassle for a lot of people. But other people seem to love it. So, I don't know. What do you think? Google Meet or Zoom? So, a couple days ago, during my run for supplies, I broke down and I got some organic raspberries. And my MO is to forget about crisper purchases. And, I'll get salads and I forget about them in the crisper. I don't know if I'm the only one that does that, but I do it. And that's why I have to limit and monitor how much of the produce I get. But I caved and I got organic raspberries, and because I realized that I had them yesterday, and I was very low energy, and because I think I was dehydrated and low energy, I almost ate that whole entire carton, which granted that carton isn't very huge, but still, they were pretty darn delicious. So go out there and get yourself some organic raspberries. You will not regret it. I believe they are in season right now, which is probably why they tasted so delicious. What else? I was out for a walk one day, and and actually the area that I was in was it was a nice neighborhood, and they were dogs of good breeding who were barking at each other quite ferociously. I thought some sort of a brawl would break out, and I just kind of assumed because they were dogs of good breeding, they've had the training, and they wouldn't be acting as nasty as they were, and it was pretty bad. There was a rumble about to break out on the mean streets of the suburb I happened to be in at the time. but I don't know, you would think that dogs of good breeding would be quite bougie, but nope, they were rough and ready to go. Over the weekend, I believe this might have been on Sunday, I was checking out a movie. I've been calling it the Rectum movie, but it is called Bad Milo, and it has a host of character actors that are in it. If you have not seen it, please do. I do recommend it. Search for it. Everybody's streaming everything these days, so I'm sure it will not be hard to find. It is called Bad Milo, and actually, I'm stealing a little bit of a phrase that I recall reading, that basically this movie is a dumb idea, but executed skillfully. And I didn't see it from the beginning, but I saw enough of it that I almost turned the channel, but I stuck with it, and I'm glad that I did, because they had a lot of really good one-liners that were in there. So it's a movie that's very aware of itself. So I no longer call it the Rectum Monster movie, but it is called Bad Milo. Something to suggest as far as music is concerned, I tend to, whenever I am doing any housework or projects that I'm working on that are a bit monotonous, I like to have music playing on in the background. I have to have music. And something I suggest, if you want a little bit of ambient music that's not off-putting, Google or do a YouTube search for Kidnap Sunrise Set. Again, that's Kidnap Sunrise Set. You will not regret it. It is actually, it's really good. Really good. So, earlier in the week, I ran into a father and daughter who were out walking their dog. And last week, they had complimented me on a face mask that I was wearing, and they inquired where they could get one. So I let them know where I got mine, and we bid each other adieu, and that was that. So anyway, I saw them earlier this week, and so basically a week had gone by, and I said hello, and I instantly told them that Old Navy was about to launch face masks of their own that they were selling in packs for like $13. And they were cordial, but both of them looked at me like I was like the weirdest oddball. And they kept on going, and I kept going my way. And later on, I realized that they didn't recognize me from when they saw me last week, or they didn't remember that this completely random person that exchanged pleasantries with them, that talked about other random things. Basically, a complete stranger has come up to them acting as if we were the best of friends. But in my head, I picked up where we left off in our conversation from last week. So I might not know names, but I remember faces, and I'm pretty good about remembering where we met and what we talked about. So that's just how I roll. In last week's news, I'm sure some of you guys are aware of this, of the couple who were shopping at a grocery store. I don't know if this has happened elsewhere in the country or the world, but I know that in California there was a couple wearing swastika masks, and I believe there was one gentleman who was wearing a Klan hood. So I'm sure you guys are well aware of that story. If not, easily do a search and find that out. I won't go into too much detail about that. But so while I was doing my own run for supplies, a guy in my aisle, at a very, very quick glance, he looked like he was wearing a swastika of some kind on his mask in the store. And then on a closer inspection, because I had to shop down that aisle and I had to get what I had to get, I didn't want to do an about face and head in the other direction, because hey, I'm there to shop too. But it was in fact a Kiss bandana. So it was not a swastika, but a Kiss bandana. And if you are familiar with the Kiss font for their logo, it kind of looks a little swastika-esque. Especially how he had it tied. So I don't know if that was on purpose or if that's how it just naturally fell, but I don't know. That happened. Let's see. Ooh, I also looked at that movie, what is it called? The Gentleman, with the one that Guy Ritchie ended up directing. And, Guy Ritchie, he knows how to make a fun, good-looking film. And you may or may not be a fan of his work, but he really does good stuff. It is fun, it is energetic, it's sexy. Yeah, it can be violent, but man, it's pretty decent writing, pretty decent action, and a good story. So, anyway, I was digging it. The Gentleman, I recommend that one if you just want something fun and entertaining to check out. And I'm sure you guys have heard about this one too. There was an ice cream parlor in Massachusetts that had to close down immediately after it opened, on its opening day, after being closed during the whole lockdown. And I believe this happened last Friday. And really all because people were not paying attention to the guidelines that were set by that particular business. And I found that very sad. It was disheartening, and because these customers were highly disrespectful to the employees. Now, granted, I wasn't there, so I did not hear any of the exchange on either end from either the customers that were not happy or from the employees who, I don't know, at least by reading the article, it sounded like these were young employees who were doing their best to fulfill orders, and a lot of orders in a very highly stressful situation, and doing the best that they could. So, I don't know, that kind of sucked. And it's an ice cream parlor. I just don't understand that people would still behave in this very unflattering manner during this day and age. Pre-coronavirus pandemic and during and post. We really should all be treating each other a lot more kind. And I understand that a lot of us will have some bad days, but, we got to rise above that. It's time. It really is time. And people are too old to act otherwise. So, a trailer to check out. And it's not a movie trailer, but this is actually one of those masterclass trailers. Something else I stumbled on over the weekend. It's the masterclass for Ron Finley, who I guess they call him the gangster gardener. He teaches gardening, and they filmed a masterclass. And this guy, it is well worth looking at the trailer. Even if you don't sign up for the class, just check out the trailer. And you may or may not be into gardening, but the trailer alone, the guy is great. He is highly engaging and very interesting, and he's very, very easy to listen to and inspiring. And he ended up dropping some gems. Plus, they played NWA's Express Yourself, the one that, not Salt and Pepper Express Yourself, but NWA, the one that uses the Otis Redding, I believe it's Otis Redding, whose sample that they used. That was the background music during this whole entire trailer. And so it became a trailer that had a really nice-ass beat. So, not like some of the other homogenous master classes that use the sweeping, dramatic soundtrack music for their master classes, which there's nothing wrong with that, but this was a breath of fresh air to hear a little hip-hop on the soundtrack for that trailer. It was really cool. So, like I said, even if you're not into master classes at all, definitely check out that trailer. Something I am working on doing this week is savoring moments. And I was on my way to work one day, and it was, I saw a woman at the corner. She was walking with her dog, and she was at a standstill, and it was a cute little poodle, and it was a poodle that, he had a lot of character, and I saw her gesture politely to the dog, as in a, come on, are you ready? Are you ready to go? We can go. And the cute little poodle just stayed where it was, and it was quite happy and content to either stay where it was or to go in a different direction, which I suspect that direction was not towards home. It was incredibly cute because the dog was, you could tell the dog was obviously happy and probably obviously just very happy to like get one over on its owner. Like, no, I don't feel like moving, not at all. And the owner wasn't rushing the dog, but she was gesturing like, do you want to come this way? So it was cute. And I don't know. Those are the kind of things that I believe all dog owners go through and know about. And even if you don't currently have a dog, and if you've had a dog, you know what I'm talking about. Dogs are awesome. And what else? Oh, I was on a walkabout earlier today and saw this huge monster truck. And its license plate was indicative of the person's profession, which was within an industry, indicating like the position that they were in, and that they were in it for the long haul, like forever and ever and ever. And also, you could see the place of business just from the decoration of the truck. And I'm assuming it was a guy whose truck this belongs to. I mean, it's not to say that women cannot own monster trucks. It's just that more often than not, they tend to be driven by males. And for this particular profession, I'm just making assumptions on it. But what I wondered was, because of this license plate and because of the infinite amount of time that was attached to this particular profession, I wondered, so does this person feel that he's destined to do this forever and ever and ever until he actually drops? Or what? I don't know. Those are just things that I kind of mused about. And you know what? I think I have taken up enough of your time. I'm going to wrap this up by saying, this week, if you want to take a page out of my playbook, savor things. Savor something each and every day. It doesn't have to be anything big. It can be something small. Maybe it's savoring a poem that somebody wrote for you. It could be savoring a flower that you happen to see. Maybe it's savoring a phone conversation that you had with a friend. Or it's savoring a really tasty gourmet meal that you made at home and you decided to share that with your friends. Or you savored a moment of making a meal with your family. It could be anything. So take time to savor those little moments. And with that, I want to say thank you very much for supporting this podcast and the channel. I do really, really appreciate it. And thank you for checking out Mari's Golden Hour. Have a really, really great week. Bye.